A lot of people will say, well, why don't I set up one in Arizona or the state that I reside in? Most people don't know that you can use a registered agent in another state as the address for your LLC to get the benefits of that state, especially if you're not going to be doing business in your own state. Okay. So this is kind of an online distributed ecosystem, crypto. So you can really set things up to your benefit. And if you're here domestic in the US, Wyoming is the best jurisdiction when it comes to regulation around crypto. So we structure it there. You're also going to get fantastic creditor protection in Wyoming. You have charging order protection, which was adopted from Nevada, and it's almost second to none. There's really not a whole lot of states where you're going to get that strong of creditor protection. The other thing about Wyoming is there's no state tax. So this is the other thing, like people are in New York or they're in California or they're in a state that has some cumbersome laws around what you can do with your crypto. If you've moved it into a Wyoming LLC, you're going to get all those freedoms that exist there in that state. When you go to set up, exchange, there's still going to be a look through to the beneficial owner on this stuff. Some exchanges are still going to be kind of wonky. If you live in New York and you have a Wyoming LLC and you give them a New York ID, in that situation, you might get a Palau ID. I've seen a lot of people do that in order to be able to kind of get around that. But the registered agent there in Wyoming is going to provide you anonymity for your address. The other thing that you get in Wyoming that you get in Delaware and South Dakota and Nevada is attorney-client privilege. So the attorney's information, their name and all of that is going to be on the LLC publicly. So nobody's going to know that you own it. Nobody's going to know your address. If they look it up, they're not going to be able to tell that you're even associated at all with this entity that's been filed in Wyoming. And for a while, we thought that you were going to need to file reciprocity with, states like California or New York. You don't have to because you're not doing physical business in those states using that LLC. So you don't have to file the reciprocity and you're not going to owe the state taxes. I can't tell you that for sure. You're going to have to work with your CPA. This is just, again, we work with CPAs and this is the feedback I've gotten from them.